So hello guys, and welcome back to another video in our channel. In our video today, we're going to do an in-depth tactical analysis of the Chelsea versus Manchester City game that took place at Wembley on Saturday, and we are going to look at how these teams played. Pep Guardiola after the match really emphasized on how he was so disappointed with the time in which the game was played, and this actually played out to how Manchester City played, because we did not see Manchester City playing in the usual way that we usually expect them to play. So Manchester City lined up in their usual 3-2-4-1 system, with John Stones starting in midfield alongside Rodri and Ruben Dias being replaced by Akanji, with Pep Guardiola fielding a side that was quite tired, having played 120 minutes during the week against Real Madrid. But the hallmark for Chelsea's performance was the performance of Nicolas Jackson, a player who has been labeled to be a player who actually costed Chelsea the game by failing to capitalize on the many 1v1s and the chances that he easily should score. Being a striker in a top club like Chelsea, these are goals that generally you should score. So let's look at Mauricio Pochettino's lineup. Pochettino lined up with a 4-2-3-1 system, but the main facet that really shocked everyone was the deployment of Conor Gallagher. And Conor Gallagher, who had been deployed as a left winger, actually raised a lot of questions, because in my opinion, I thought that if Raheem Sterling actually started there, it would have been much better starting Raheem Sterling there than having Gallagher there. I want to introduce you again to our sponsor, BetWinner. I'd like you to use the link in the description area below to visit their site. They give favorable odds, favorable predictions, and also their payout is quite efficient. Click the link in the description area below to know much more about them. And before we even continue our analysis, I'd like to remind you again to kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. First of all, we look at what Manchester City did. Manchester City had the lion's share of possession as usual, and we want to see what Manchester City actually managed to do when they had the ball. So Manchester City generally started to build from the back using their goalkeeper Ortega. And Ortega will try to look for both of their center backs when Chelsea looked to press high. Manchester City formed the pseudo back four system by using their goalkeeper as an extra center back during build up and dropping one center back, John Stones, in midfield to play in alongside Rodri in this position. Now, this back four system made it troublesome for Chelsea, while Chelsea in this game tried to usually force Manchester City to play towards one side of the pitch. Manchester City knew how to break Chelsea's press in these kinds of situations, and that's why Manchester City are usually the best. So we'll see Walker receive the ball in this position and immediately make a quick shift by playing the ball onto Nathan Ake, who was playing down the other side. Here again you can see Chelsea are trying to create that far side overload by trying to force Manchester City to play down the right and trying to put pressure on Kyle Walker. But Walker is able to play a quick ball to Manuel Akanji down the left-hand side, and now Chelsea do not have players marking these players, and now Manchester City can easily progress from their defensive third to their attacking third. Now, let's proceed on to forward areas. So when Manchester City had settled possession, we saw them moving into their 3-2-5 structure. Remember, Manchester City like to position themselves with three center backs at the back, two holding midfielders, two attacking midfielders to form that box-shaped midfield, and wide wingers on either side. Now, Chelsea played in a narrow 4-2-3-1 formation, their main aim to try to limit Manchester City's progress with the ball through the middle. Chelsea even shifted to a more 4-2-4 conserved system, where the wide wingers will be the ones pressing the wide center backs, while Jackson and Cole Palmer will be looking to tie up both Rodri and John Stones. And sometimes Manchester City will use their middle center back to progress with the ball forward. But Chelsea were also quite aggressive, especially when Manchester City decided to play into Chelsea's third, with Chelsea looking to stop Manchester City dominating the ball in their own half. So this was quite very interesting because Chelsea actually managed to even go man-to-man press, and Manchester City decided to play long balls over the top, especially towards the wide areas where they would use players such as Bernardo Silva and Jack Grealish to try and draw Chelsea's fullbacks out of position and attempt a dribble past them, or sometimes have De Bruyne make that right half space run. Luckily for Chelsea is that Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo were able to shift across and cover these positions, and that is why Conor Gallagher was preferred in this position, because he will drop in midfield to cover these kinds of problems. Down the right, it was also quite interesting because Grealish should also do the same, pull out Gusto with Phil Foden looking to make that run. You can see here Grealish is receiving the ball, and you can see that Phil Foden is already making that half space run, looking to make that cross in the inside corridor. Now, Manchester City in this position looked quite dangerous, but Chelsea were able to nullify this threat that is posed by Manchester City. And Chelsea were also quite great when they won the ball, as they immediately looked to effectively counter past Manchester City by looking to play balls in the channels, especially with Nicolas Jackson, who was making tremendous runs in this position. Here you can see Manchester City have lost the possession, and Jackson has come short to receive the ball directly. Here again you can see Noni Madueke has received the ball, and Nicolas Jackson is looking to make that runs in the channel, and he's actually pulling Akanji out of position, because now Akanji has to come across. Jackson is able to beat Akanji, and now Chelsea are progressing high up the pitch with Jackson and 5 other players running ahead of them, and this is giving Chelsea numerical advantages during the counter attack. And that is how Jackson did it. So what about Chelsea? What did Chelsea do in possession that actually made them so great in this game? What tactics did Mauricio Pochettino come up with? So Chelsea in possession were quite interesting, and they looked to play from the back by having to drop their 2 center backs at the back and using the goalkeeper as a third center back. But the problem with Chelsea is that Manchester City knew how to stop this build-up structure by pressing with both De Bruyne and Julian Alvarez, while Phil Foden coming in to pick the deeper Moises Caicedo. Manchester City's main aim was to immediately put pressure on Chelsea's centre-backs, because they knew very well they had covered all areas of the pitch, and the position of Phil Foden would allow Manchester City's forwards to press aggressively, with Alvarez looking also to immediately jump on Chalobah. Gusto will try to play the ball to Madueke, who will be dropping deep, who will be immediately followed by Nathan Ake. You can see here Chalobah has time and space on the ball, but you can see already Alvarez is looking to press forward and try to win the ball off him. Now, but Chelsea had come up with a way in which they could deal with Manchester City, and that is using either Noni Madueke to use his trickery to try and win the ball in this position. But sometimes Ake was able to win the ball and put Manchester City in much more promising situations. But sometimes what they used to do is that Madueke will drop deep, receive the ball, and immediately Jackson will be making that out to in to out run, where he will receive the ball behind Nathan Ake and look to carry Chelsea forward. And this were some of the elements of Jackson's gameplay that were very good for Chelsea. So you can see here Jackson has received the ball, he has played the ball onto Enzo Fernandez, who's making the run out wide. You can see here now Enzo Fernandez has received the ball in this wide channel, and now Chelsea have actually carried themselves forward onto Manchester City's other half of the pitch. Again, you can see here Nicolas Jackson has received the ball, and he immediately plays the ball to Cole Palmer, with Enzo Fernandez looking to make that run beyond him. So Chelsea will be quite disappointed with this game, with a lot of fans blaming Nicolas Jackson for not capitalizing on his chances and actually costing Chelsea a crucial win, because in my opinion Manchester City were there for the taking. And this is missing of chances has haunted Chelsea again. So when we look at both managers, we are very fascinated with them, and Pep Guardiola can count himself lucky, because only a last final minutes goal saved him, because if Chelsea would have managed to drag this game on to the extra time, they would easily overwhelm Manchester City and probably beaten Manchester City in extra time. And if you've enjoyed this analysis, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.